Hey there, I'm Sammy and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, I'm trying a new technique in flipping furniture. This is a quick, simple flip that any one of you can do and I can't wait to share it with you, so let's jump right in. This is the piece we are starting off with. Overall, it is in decent shape. There are some scratches, the finish is starting to come off. It does look a little old and outdated. We're gonna fix that, trust me. This has no maker's mark on it. The drawers are in decent shape, but they will need some drawer liners. Alright guys, I'm so excited. We're doing something really different, but I'm so excited. So I'm going in with some acetone. And sure, you could call this stripping, but hopefully it's going to be 10 times easier. And it's a little bit different process than stripping would be. You do need your piece to be all wood that you're using this method on. And I'm 99% sure that all of this is wood, but we're about to find out. So first things first, we're getting this hardware off because this is not my style, and it's also not the original hardware. I feel like the original hardware on this was really cool, but it didn't have it. Unfortunately, it's got this, and I don't like it, and I probably will never use it. I'll set it aside for now, but I might just trash it. So, this can 100% be a no tools flip, but you do need to have a piece that is in pretty good shape. This one's in decent shape. I do see some scratches, but I think that's just going to add to this look. A lot of times when you use this method, you're going for a little bit more of a rustic, antique, like a little bit old, worn down piece of furniture. It's basically removing the old stain and somewhat bleaching it, and then from there you can do like a paint wash if you want. Oh, look at who I have. What a handsome boy. Are you ready to start a new project, boo-boo? Yes, you are. What's the first step? Taking off the hardware? High five. Yeah. Okay, let's get to work then. Why don't you start scrubbing? Thank you. Get to work. The dresser's over here. Hardware time. I'm also taking off these little accent key locks. They're not even real, it's just for looks. So we're taking those off, but I will be adding them back on later. Alright guys, we are jumping right in. No need to clean because the acetone is really just going to do that for us. Unless you really want to clean, you can clean. That's up to you. I'm not going to waste my time doing that. I have a tarp. Well, not a tarp. I have plastic lying on the floor because this is going to get messy, and I'm prepared for that. You also need to do this in a well-ventilated area. I've got my gloves, and I've got two scrubbing brushes because I didn't know which one would be more useful. This one has like angled, beveled edge to get in those nooks and crannies, and this one's just like flat. And I've got a whole lot of acetone. We're gonna start with the top, flat, easy, smooth surface, and then we'll go from there. We'll see how this goes. I'm crossing my fingers because I have some high hopes. Also so freaking windy outside. Sun may be out, but it is cold. My hot chocolate in my Christmas cup. I've leaf-blowed my garage so many times because there's been so many leaves in here. Smells like I'm doing my nails. Another thing you will want is a rag, which you don't have, or some paper towels, but you want to be able to throw whatever it is away. I'm going to pour some of this in here. Really, this just brings back memories of doing my nails on my mom's kitchen table and spilling acetone on it. Because it did. It took off the stain. Sorry, Mom. But if you ever spill acetone on anything, it does. It makes it like sticky, and it starts to remove that finish, and yeah, fond memories. Okay, I'm just gonna go for this. I'm gonna dip a little bit in here and scrub. Number one, I need a mask, so.
The acetone was taking off the finish so easily. It was coming off with just a few scrubs. I was using minimal effort here, so I was very pleased to find this method and find out that it works, and it works very well. So I will definitely be using this on future flips, but I'm just covering the entire surface using my 2 scrubbing brushes depending on which area I'm working on, making sure to get in all those creases. But like I said, the acetone gets in there, it does its job, it removes that old finish, and then if you need to go back in later and touch anything up and give it one last wipe, then you can do that with the acetone. But overall, the first layer got all the finish off.
Alright, everything has been stripped with acetone, but I'm gonna go in one more time. I've gotten all the old finish off that I want to, but there's some spots that are a little bit streaky, there's some splotches, so I have some acetone in a spray bottle right here, and I'm gonna spray an area and then wipe it down with a clean rag, and it'll remove any of that old finish that's still there or any spots or smears that are on the surface, so everything will be nice and clean. And then I'm gonna go in and vacuum everything, give it a really good clean, and then we'll get it put back together so we can put a paint wash on everything. Oh gosh! If you're doing this at home, one, plan to make a mess, because this made a mess. That's why I laid down my tarp that I have here on the ground. My plastic, and either wear clothes that you don't care about or wear an apron like this.
Then I quickly vacuumed everything out. There was quite a bit of dust inside, and I wanted to make sure to collect that and wipe it all down before we finish this piece off.
Snack time. Alright, everything's clean. Everything is ready for paint wash. We're gonna use this little guy here that I saw at Home Depot the last time I was there. This is just a sample. It was a pre-mix sample and it was on clearance for 50 cents. I spent 50 cents on this, and it's gonna take care of this whole dresser. So I'm excited about that because you don't need much paint for a paint wash, and we're just gonna do light coat over everything. Now, normally I usually use a white or cream tan paint for paint washes, but I saw this in the sample section and was like, why not? A lot of people use green paint for paint washes because it helps cancel out those darker red tones and mutes the color a little bit. So it will give us a little bit of a different look than using like a tan or cream paint, but I think it's gonna be the look I want with this piece. So I'm gonna do the same thing as I always do when I do any kind of paint wash, and I'm gonna mix this with my water in this container here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of paint. I'm gonna start with a 1:3 ratio, so 1 part paint, 3 parts water. I only got some chip brushes, so I feel like this is gonna be a real easy way to apply the stain, and then we'll wipe off the excess left on the surface. So I'm gonna start off by mixing this up. We're gonna do the front of this, and then I'm gonna put all the drawers in and do the drawers while they're inside of it, and then be ready for top coat. In she goes. This is just water.
Here I'm just starting with really light layers. I let it set for a few seconds to do a little test area, wipe that off, and if I wanted it to be a little bit more pigmented, then I would just add another layer and go from there. Like I said, you can always build, so start off with less paint than you think and always do a little test section, apply it, and then wipe it off to see what it's going to give you. I went over the entire dresser, I put the drawers back in, and then I did those while they were in the dresser because I felt like that was just a little bit easier. Now this green paint color might scare a few of you, but in the end it really leveled out and it wasn't so green. Ta-da! It's cold out today. It's time to wrap this up. So I need to put a top coat on this. I got it outside. All the drawers are in. I'm gonna be spraying it with the drawers in, and we'll seal everything off. We'll get the hardware on, and then I'm gonna do something else to this that will give it a little more oomph. They just came in the mail today, so. Here I'm going in with my usual polyurethane in a satin finish, of course with my Wagner sprayer, because why not? If you have a sprayer, you know. If you don't, you need to get one because it makes your life 10 times easier and it makes the finish flawless. Alright guys, if you remember, in the beginning, I removed these little decorative lock emblems that were on the front. And I bought some new hardware for this, and boy was it hard to find hardware for this because it's 5 1/4 or 5 3/4. They don't make that hardware. And if they do, it's like really ugly and it's hard to come by. But they do make adjustable hardware. So for those of you who don't know, and you're trying to find hardware and you just can't find the right size, they do make adjustable hardware that's limited also, but it will work for this piece, and I was very pleased to find that. So anyways, long story long, basically, I had these knobs and they don't match the color of the other hardware, but I have some rub and buff I'm gonna put that on the hardware as well as these little locks, and everything's gonna match after that. So this is antique gold rub and buff. Got a little paintbrush, and I'm just gonna go to town working on these. I tested one knob already to make sure that the color was right, and it was, obviously. A little bit of rub and buff goes a long way. You guys, it's been so cold. I know, I was like, when is it gonna get cold? It's cold now, okay? I don't appreciate it. Well, you're probably assuming there's no way this girl is from Alaska. Or wondering how I survived there, and I couldn't tell you. But I am about to go up there for the holidays, so come come join me. Well, I might even be there right now by the time you're watching this video. If you follow me on Instagram, and if you don't, you should, then you can follow along, you know? Because I will definitely be sharing some things on there. So yeah, go do what you need to do and join me in Alaska. And I'll show you how I freeze myself to death. When done, I will not be doing furniture up there at this time. Well, I say that, but you never know what I get myself into. Ooh, it's so windy and cold. Are you having fun out there? Oh my gosh, it looks so good, you guys. Rub and buff just always saves the day. Why don't you come a little closer so you can get a better look, you know, if you know what I'm saying. You can see I'm being very thorough with these coats of rub and buff. I want to make sure the whole surface is covered, and I want it to be really smooth to match the other hardware. We're getting the hardware on now, and I want to show you guys this hardware because it's really cool. Like I said, I could not find hardware for this because this measurement is not your typical measurement, and there's two. I wish the original hardware was with this piece. Whoever had this dresser before me, they replaced the hardware, and I definitely found that hardware on Amazon, and it was like the only one space distance that I needed for this dresser. It's not a common measurement. A lot of times you can buy different hardware on Amazon and they have lots of different measurements, but they didn't for this. And yeah, you can drill new holes, but I'm not painting this piece, so I didn't have a way to really cover those holes up if I did drill new holes. So I needed to figure something out, and I found these. And they're adjustable. And these also come in different sizes. This was one of the, I think, largest one. And it goes to like maybe 6 or 6.5. You can decide how far apart these posts are. So whatever measurement you need, you can make it work. And they're really cool. I'll show you how they work. With these adjustable hardware, they come in separate pieces. So you have the bar and then you have the 2 posts. Then it comes with these little pins. On the back there's 2 holes. One is for a pin. And you might be wondering, why does a pin go on that side? Well, when you press this up against the dresser and then you put the screw through, it helps hold pressure to wherever you need this, because the pin sticks through all the way, and then the bar slides in. When the dresser back is on this side and you screw it together, it puts pressure on this bar, and then that is what holds this in place, and so it makes it adjustable, so you can move it and then tighten it and it will stay there. Now, I'm gonna be lining the drawers with this. I've used this before. It's wallpaper. I use it for drawer liners because it is so much thicker than other drawer liners that you buy, and it's a lot more forgiving, which makes it so much easier to put inside of a drawer. Line all of our drawers so they look like this. So beautiful. Levels them up a little bit, gives them a little bit more elegance. It makes them look a little bit more high-end because inside of this is like that cardboard material. It wasn't in the best shape, so we want to make sure to give it a good clean, wipe down, get anything that's stuck on it that's going to leave like a bump, and that way we can lay our wallpaper drawer liner over it and it'll be nice and smooth and it'll look good as new. You're going to measure it now.
They should all be the same. So these are all about almost 18 inches. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out all of those pieces for all these drawers, and then we'll get them all installed.
Start at one corner, I start to peel the backing away, and then I peel all the way along the back edge. I line that up with one edge and get that pressed down, and then from there I start using my scraper to press it down and remove the rest of the liner. Once it's all in, you have a little excess left over on some of the edges. Just grab a X-Acto knife, go along the edge, and then that will peel off nicely and give you a nice clean cut. And then I just repeated this process in all the other drawers. Now, as always, let's go back to the beginning so we can see what we started off with, so that we can really appreciate what we are ending with. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you really enjoyed this flip. I had a lot of fun transforming this piece, and I will definitely be using this technique more often. As always, I will leave a profit breakdown in the description below, as well as a list of my most used tools and products. Go check it out if you're interested. But as for now, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!